Oh, happy Mabon, everybody. I just wanted to do a very quick, just a really short update video. It's not anything super major. I've been doing my, there's a lot of ums going on. This is not a plain video. I've actually started my first challenge group. We're actually about 2 weeks into it right now. I'm actually looking into the next thing coming up. It's called Clean Week. I'm still doing some research on it, but it's supposed to start on October 3rd, and it's basically like an introductory week-long program. They've made specific workouts just for it, and it has its own, I guess, kind of like a challenge pack thing where it's got Shakeology for a week for like $20-30, I think, something like that. I don't remember the price off the top of my head. It's rather cheap compared to, you know, the normal price of a whole month of Shakeology, so I think that's the only purchase that they require, because it also gives you a meal plan and all the like paperwork that you would need for it, for the eating part of it. The workouts are free. On Beachbody On Demand, they'll have a program on there for people to use, and la-di-da-da. Like I said, I'm not going to get too much into the details, because I'm just skimming the surface, because I just started looking stuff up, and I'm trying to figure out what direction I want to go with that. Like, whether I'm going to make a private or a separate group for it, or just, I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyways, like I said, today's the first day of fall, aka Mabon, or the autumn equinox up here in Michigan. The one big thing on my home front is I finally just got a bug up my butt. I've been talking about building an outdoor circle in the backyard for a while now. Like, we lived here for almost 4 years now, and I still hadn't built like a permanent place to do any rituals. And I didn't even think about it till last night, but it's been exactly a year now since my group disbanded, so I really haven't done any big holiday stuff on my own yet. So last night I just put like a literally like last minute circle together. Decided I wanted to get this baby's blessing done. I did one for Parker, so I want to do one for Jackson. While it was still nice out, it's like 90 degrees out. It's supposed to only last a few more days, and it's supposed to finally feel like September, cold and rainy and all that stuff. So, I just put the invite out there real fast for a couple friends and family. I've had my mother-in-law came, my sister-in-law came with her baby, and one of my friends I haven't seen in quite a while. She kind of just goes with the wind. I never know when I'm going to see her, but she actually came, so I was really happy that she was there. And I think I officially, I built the circle, but now it's official. I blessed it and cleansed it and charged it, and did our first actual ritual there with the baby. So his blessing's out of the way. I feel like that's kind of like breaking ground, and it adds another big chunk to me establishing my home as my home, because I'm not moving ever again. This is where I will be until I die. So what was I getting at here? Oh, it was kind of cool also because we had storms rolling through last night. I didn't think it was going to rain because it's been like 90 degrees. It's hot, it's sunny. Then all of a sudden it got like super dark outside, and my handsome, he's at work, so he's like, farther north than here, and he's like, it's already downpouring here. It's supposed to last over an hour, so if you're going to get this done, you might want to hurry up. So I'm like, crap. So I'm like trying to get everybody outside. I kind of felt like, I was rushed because I was trying to beat the storm, and I could hear the thunder rolling, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then there's so many parts in the ritual that talked about rain and, the cold and the wind, and I'm like, oh, please don't do that. I'm like, I'll say it, but you gotta wait a minute. And I'm like, I was like, yeah. I was like, garble. That's pretty much what I felt like I was doing. I was pushing through this ritual super fast so I could try to get it done. I really wanted it done before this rain hit, and we actually did really well. We got everybody back inside before it started downpouring, and then it didn't seem to stop until like well after dark, so I'm really glad we got it done when we did. So I feel like, I'm finally starting to feel like I've got some direction, I guess, again in my spiritual practice, because I kind of had to put it on the back burner for a while because I've been part of a group for years, like over 10 years. I've been part of a circle, We weren't a coven or anything. We were basically just a bunch of solitaires. We'd join together, do our holidays, and then we'd go our separate way. Like, we wouldn't do full moon stuff unless somebody wanted to on the side and invited people, but basically it was just for the major 8 holidays of the year. But that was still like my time to connect with people, you know, that are also on a similar path as me, you know, connecting with nature and, you know, focusing on the seasons and the changes and all that stuff. So to just like stop our group was like it was like putting the brakes on my whole life, kind of. So I've been kind of in a rut with that part of my life. Like I still acknowledge that, you know, hey, it's a full moon, new moon, blah, blah, blah. I've been doing that on my own, like I normally do anyways. You know, I just kind of do what I do. I charge my stones. You know, I observed the solar eclipse last month, etc., but I haven't done actually, you know, the big Sabbath holidays in my home at all. So that was a big deal for me yesterday to really, you know, it felt nice to finally like go back and write a ritual again and then actually have people show up. I wasn't really expecting anybody to make it, except for maybe my mother-in-law. But I did have people come, so that made me feel good, because then at least, you know, I felt like the baby had some people there to, you know, kind of celebrate his life. And plus, I really need to get it done because he's almost 7 months old, so he's not going to be a baby much longer. I'm like, I need to get this rolling. I did Parker's when he was like 3 months old, but we had our group still, so it wasn't too hard to plan it. And I wasn't the one performing the ritual. I was able to just participate and hold him, but since I had to do the ritual, I couldn't really hold him, which kind of was another weird difference between the two, but that's okay. I liked it anyways. It worked well. And, you know, so now I feel like my circle's established. Like I said, the stones are where they're going to be. Like, the only thing I think I might do is I might add more dirt to it. Like, I think I'll just let it stay the way it is right now through the winter, see how the snow packs it down and see how it helps or hurts it after, you know, how many months of winter that we have. If it looks like they sunk down too much and they're like, you know, going to flood every time it rains, then I may add more dirt to kind of lift the stones up closer to the surface again. And we have sand underneath it to kind of help settle it too. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll adjust as we need to. But the basics of it is done. Like, it's been blessed. I put my cascarilla around it. I put black salt around it. We smudged it with sage. We blessed all 4 quarters. Like, you know, I feel like it's really the circle now. My potatoes are boiling. So, I'm not sure. I think I'm still gonna try to do one for Samhain. It basically just depends on how the weather is, whether or not I do it outside or not, I think. I don't know if I'm going to invite people, because I know a lot of people have their own, like, Halloween parties and whatever else they got going on. I haven't looked that far ahead yet, so I'm just kind of keeping in the back of my mind. I might make it public again, or not really public. I don't want strangers in my house, but people that I know, I will put the invite out there. But, anyways, I'm rambling. The one thing other than that was major was that I've been him-hawing on a name for, I don't know how to call it. Since we're not doing like the group, we're not a society anymore. I don't have like a group of people open to the public, a legalized church like we were. Now it's basically being refocused on my family. I'm going to have to like weed through all the information and stuff that I've learned and gathered through the last 10 plus years of being in a group and figure out what exactly I believe and, you know, kind of how can I arrange it or organize it in a way that I'll be able to teach my children. Does that make any sense? To make it a family tradition. So something that I'm like, okay, this is what we always do. Like, you know, for Yule, we always bake cookies and we always have a big feast. And I already have my list of like, this is what I eat every Yule. Like, it has to be that. Like, you can add extra stuff, but this is my basic meal. Like, I must have this every time. And like my traditions around the Santa Claus, you know, we always do the tree. We always we bless our tree. You know, we bless the skirt of the tree. Like, I have little quirky things that, thankfully, my significant other, my handsome, he's pretty relaxed on my stuff. Like, he'll ask me questions about stuff, but he doesn't get too like involved with it. He's just like, okay, whatever. You're like, why are these rocks here? Okay, that's fine. He started carrying rocks. Like, he just kind of goes with it. He doesn't really ask too much about it, but he's also, you know, he lets me do my thing. He knows I'm not harming anybody. I'm not harming, like, that's obviously our number one rule, is to harm none. Not harming the children. And like, it's basically teaching them to revere the earth as something sacred and the animals in it and other people. And, you know, it's basically like the golden rule of all religions. And I don't really look at it as a religion. It's more just a spiritual practice. It's seeing the divine in everything around you, etc., etc. I'm not going to get into like the philosophies behind of what I do, but Anyways, I keep like, I'm trying to build up to what I'm trying to get to. I'm sorry if you're still listening to this, thank God, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get there. So, building on us building a actual tradition for the family, kind of like a family coven, so to speak. Sorry, I gotta check the time because I gotta get ready for work. I was trying to think of a name for it, and those who know me or have seen pictures of my yard know that my yard is like full of perennials. I've got flowers everywhere, like gardens to the wazoo, and then my backyard's kind of split in two. It's got like the front backyard is like stone pathways. I've got, you know, lots of perennials. I've got lots of ground cover. My little house is back there. The circle's kind of between the two parts of my backyard. It's kind of more towards the backyard. But the far backyard is like a big field, aka I was talking to the girl that came to Ritual last night while I was my brain was going. And I said, you know, we can call that out there the Ritual Meadow because it's basically a wide open field. That's where my garden's at, my fire pit's there, and now my circle's out there. Saw a strawberry patch. That's pretty much it besides trees. And I found grapes out there, which is awesome because I made my first grape juice. So next year, now that I know they're there, I'll be a little more aware and trying to pick them earlier in the season so they're not halfway already eaten by the time I find them. So, anyways, I told her I wanted to find a name or some kind of symbolic, like our home is the whatever, or our coven is the whatever. So I liked the concept of sacred rose because the rose is actually symbolic of the goddess, because a natural wild rose is normally a 5-petaled flower, and it's used in many things throughout history to denote, you know, the female, this sacred feminine. And my roses in my yard are like everywhere, and plus they also are used to symbolize protection because of the thorns, but they also symbolize beauty. So it's like there's a lot of stuff, and I've got roses everywhere, so I'm like, I think it's only fair to somehow incorporate that into the name. So I really like the name of the Sacred Rose. I was trying to debate whether to call it like the Temple of the Sacred Rose, which is what I originally went with for the ritual. That's what I said in the ritual. I'm still him-hawing whether I want to call it that, because I figured if I ever do grow to doing an actual public circle again like I was before, then I would call it the Sacred Rose Society, because my old one was the Sacred Birch Society, and society denotes, you know, a group of people. But I would see that more of like separate from my family coven stuff. It would be just, you know, a group of people, not particularly family. So, you know, I have a little house in the backyard, which is what I use for my temple, so to speak. But it needs some work. That's my plan, hopefully for next year, is to finally get it painted and, you know, maybe get some shelving or something, like to actually like make it an official church or temple, so to speak, where I will be practicing, especially now that I've got the outdoor circle behind it. So I don't know, I was thinking too, like maybe the Sacred Rose Hearth could be like our family name, or hold on a minute. All right, I'm back. Sorry, little guy, his show stopped and he needed his bottle. So Sacred Rose something. So if you guys have any ideas, if you're watching this, throw them at me. All I know for sure is I like the Sacred Rose part. I don't really know what kind of name I really want to use or what order I want to put the wording to denote like the family coven, you know, I can't think of the words. To be like our official title of our home/family practice. Does that make any sense? I hope to God you're like following what I'm trying to say, because I feel like it's like bleh. It made more sense when I was half awake last night trying to sleep, but I was in caffeine rush, so it was like, yep. So, and actually, for North yesterday when I called that quarter, I used an actual rosebud from my garden, so I think that kind of helped tie it together too as being an official, like, the first rose of the Sacred Rose. And I actually have it downstairs in newspaper being pressed under a book to flatten it and preserve it, so hopefully, you know, as the children get older, we can be like, you know, I can frame it or shadow box or something and be like, you know, this was our first official rose of the ritual or whatever it was to establish our household circle or whatever practice. Okay, so that's all I got right now. I gotta get ready for work or finish these dishes and get ready for work. because Grandma will be here soon, and I don't want to be still doing this when she gets here, and I don't want to be late for work. So I also changed the name of my Facebook page for my workout stuff to the Sacred Rose, or just Sacred Rose Fitness. I figured then, I felt like Fit Mama Witch might have put off people, because I know there's a lot of Christians out there that do Beachbody and all that stuff, and I don't want them to get put off because oh, she's a witch, stereotypical, oh, freaky hooky dookie, People that take the time to know me and, they ask me questions and they realize that, it's not really that different than stuff they already do. I'm like, I don't curse people. I shouldn't have to explain it to everybody that I meet, but it just saves me a lot of trouble, I think, and not people making snap judgments when they read it. But, and that also ties in with the practice. I feel like that'll help me balance out my different areas of my life. It's hard for me to separate everything I do because I feel like my life is just layers of overlapping. My spiritual practice overlaps with my fitness because to me it's a very, a meditative thing. Working out is very, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a meditation. It's like an active meditation because you're focused and you're working on you, which is also a part of my spiritual practice, is bettering yourself physically and mentally and spiritually and all that. It's always, everything's together. You can't separate everything. So it's just easier for me to just Sacred Rose everything. I like it. I really do. And I think it'd make more sense too. If you ever saw my house in the spring, these roses are everywhere. And I'm actually dreading it right now because for my winter prep, I have to cut down my roses. And there's so many of them, it's going to take me forever. And they poke me and all that stuff. But it's worth it. They're very, very, very beautiful when they're blooming. And they've been here longer than I've been here, so yes. Let me know what you think. If you have any ideas, leave them in the comments. Check out my Facebook page, Sacred Rose Fitness. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be left at. I know I've changed the name 3 times now, but I think that's it. So I'm going to get ready for work now. See you later. I'll try to update you if I know or do anything else. Bye.